My name is Veronica Clark, and I'm 32 years old. I used to think if I gave enough, stayed patient enough, loved quietly enough, my family would eventually see me. That night proved I had been invisible all along. After 14 hours in the air, 3 layovers, and a seat that barely reclined, all I wanted was silence, a shower. Maybe the lasagna I'd frozen before leaving. Something simple, something mine. Instead, I opened my front door and walked into a celebration that didn't include me. Balloons filled the ceiling, streamers hung from my staircase, laughter echoed off the walls I paid for. Champagne glasses hovered mid-toast. A Bluetooth speaker blasted music loud enough to shake the windows. And right in the center of my living room stood my younger brother, dressed in a tux, smiling beneath a banner stretched across my fireplace. She said yes. For a second, I genuinely thought I had the wrong house. Then someone near the kitchen leaned closer to another guest and whispered, "Is that her from the pictures?" That's when my mom saw me. She gasped, not with excitement, not with relief, but with something closer to inconvenience, quickly covered by a tight, nervous laugh. "Oh, you were supposed to come tomorrow." Tomorrow. Like my return was an error in scheduling. Before I could even respond, my dad turned from the punch bowl, completely relaxed, like nothing about this moment was unusual. "We all agreed your car is his wedding gift." Just like that. No hesitation, no asking, no discussion. A decision already made. No one clapped. No one questioned it. No one even looked at me long enough to register what that meant. It was as if I wasn't standing there at all. No one asked how my flight was. No one said welcome home, not even a drink offered in my own house. I stood there, suitcase still in my hand, feeling something inside me shift. Not break, not explode, just close, quietly, completely. I didn't argue, didn't ask what they meant by we, didn't remind them whose name was on the title. I just nodded once, then again, like I understood something they hadn't said out loud, and walked upstairs. I didn't unpack, didn't shower, didn't even take off my shoes. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at nothing, while the sound of laughter and clinking glasses drifted up from below, filling every corner of a house that suddenly didn't feel like mine. That's when I opened my phone. Not messages, not social media, my banking app. The first thing I did was remove my brother from the shared insurance policy. 2 taps, done. Then I checked the car title, still in my name, always had been. I bookmarked the transfer form and left it unsigned. Downstairs, someone cheered again. I heard my mom's voice, bright, emotional, almost glowing. "This is everything I dreamed of." I stared at my reflection in the dark window. Something had cracked, and for the first time, I wasn't reaching for the glue. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay in my bed, fully dressed, listening to strangers dance beneath me, and for once, I let myself remember everything I had ignored for years. This wasn't the first time. It was just the first time they didn't bother to hide it. Thanksgiving last year. My seat accidentally given to a neighbor they needed a favor from. "We figured you'd understand," my mom had said, smiling like it was a compliment. The honeymoon they booked, using my account without asking, followed by a thank you card signed by everyone. The night my dad called me at 2 a.m. because my brother had crashed my car, and they needed a story for insurance. I said yes. I always said yes. No one ever said thank you. That was the pattern. I gave, they took. I stayed quiet. They called it love. But lying there with the echo of "your car is his wedding gift" still ringing in my ears, I finally saw it clearly. I wasn't their daughter. I was infrastructure. A bank account with a name, a car with a title, a house with enough space for their celebrations. I picked up my phone again and started writing everything down. Not for revenge, for clarity. Every moment, every request disguised as family. Every time I had been erased from my own life. When I checked the photos they'd already posted, it hit harder than anything else. My house, my living room, my walls, and not a single picture of me. No caption saying I was home. No mention at all. Just hashtags about my brother, about their future, like I didn't exist, like I never had. I scrolled further back. Birthday dinners I paid for, hospital bills I covered, trips I funded. My name wasn't anywhere, not once, like I was a ghost who left money on the table and disappeared before the camera came out. That's when it settled in. Not anger, not even sadness. Just truth. They didn't see me. And if I didn't exist to them, then neither did what I provided. So before sunrise, I made a decision. They had already taken what they wanted. Now I was going to take everything back. Quietly, completely, without asking. Just like they did. I got up before sunrise. No coffee, no shower, no hesitation. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall like I was loading something into place. Every memory, every pattern, every quiet compromise finally aligning into something clear. They had made a decision for me last night. We all agreed your car is his wedding gift. They didn't ask, they didn't check, they didn't even consider that I might say no. So I made one too. I opened my laptop and logged into the insurance account. The car was still under my policy. It had always been under my policy. I removed it, effective immediately. No coverage, no buffer, no safety net, just gone. Next, I pulled up the vehicle title registry. My name, only mine. No transfer had ever been completed. I bookmarked the process to report unauthorized use and left the page open, like a door I could walk through at any moment. Downstairs, the party was dissolving into cleanup, chairs scraping, glasses clinking into trash bags, voices lower now. Tired but satisfied, I stayed upstairs. At 7:04 a.m., I opened our family phone plan. 5 lines. Mine, my parents, my brothers, and the backup phone my dad used for travel. All paid by me. Always had been. I transferred ownership of every line back to them. 72 hours to accept. Otherwise, termination. Clean, automatic, final. No warning. Then the home system, the one I installed. Smart locks, cameras, thermostat, Wi-Fi nodes, every piece of convenience they relied on without thinking twice about who built it. One click, license suspended, access revoked. In less than 10 minutes, their house went dark. Not physically, functionally. No cameras, no remote locks, no connected systems, just silence where control used to be. At 9:17 a.m., my brother texted, "Hey, the cameras are down. Can you fix it?" I looked at the message, let it sit there, then locked my phone. At 10:04 a.m., my dad called. I declined. At 11:02 a.m., my mom texted, "The phones aren't working. Are you doing something?" I didn't answer. They thought this was about the car. That was the part that almost made me laugh. By noon, I logged into the emergency fund I had set up years ago for my dad's surgery. My account, my contributions, frozen, access restricted. Then I called the mortgage lender. I was listed as co-signer. I requested removal. I knew exactly what that would trigger. A financial review they wouldn't pass without me. At 2:46 p.m., my dad texted, "This is childish, let's talk." At 4:13 p.m., my brother followed. "Why would you do this? He needs the car. Not you, not Veronica, just he." I didn't respond. Instead, I filed the report. Unauthorized use of the vehicle, legally mine, documented, submitted. That's when the messages started coming faster. "Mom, you're overreacting." Brother, "You were never really part of this family anyway. Dad, you think you can pull the plug and we'll beg? We'll be fine." I screenshotted everything, filed it neatly, time-stamped, organized. This wasn't revenge. This was documentation. That night, I messaged my cousin Mara. "You were right. I've started pulling the systems." Her reply came almost instantly. About time. The next morning, I made one more call. The company I co-founded, an IT firm that handled back-end systems for several small businesses, including my parents' accounting firm. I requested a full revocation of their access. No sabotage, no damage, just removal. The IT manager hesitated. "They're calling nonstop. Are you sure?" "I'm sure." At 3:22 p.m., my dad sent one last message that day. "Family is all you have." I stared at it for a long time, not because it hurt, but because it didn't anymore. I didn't reply. Instead, I finalized the paperwork. A formal letter, notarized, clean, precise. I revoked every authorization, exited every shared account, removed my name from every liability tied to them. I sent a copy to the house, kept one for myself. No emotion in the wording, no accusations, just facts. By the end of the day, everything I had built around them, every system, every safety net, every quiet support, was gone. And for the first time in years, I felt still. Not angry, not vindictive, just clear. They had spent years believing I would always be there, that no matter how much they took, I would adjust, absorb, continue. But systems only work when they're maintained. And I had just shut everything down. They didn't know it yet. But this wasn't about the car. This was the beginning of their collapse. 2 weeks later, they were gone. No goodbye, no message, no forwarding address. Just absence, like a house emptied overnight. Except this time, they were the ones who disappeared. I didn't chase. I didn't call. I already understood the truth. They never wanted me. They wanted what I built. And now, without it, There was nothing left to stay for. But even in silence, they didn't stop. The first sign came as a notification. Someone tried logging into the insurance portal using my old credentials. Denied. 10 minutes later, a call from the title bureau. Someone had attempted to dispute the vehicle claim. Paperwork, panic, too late. I had already pulled every thread they thought they could tug on. That night, my mom left a voicemail, her voice slurred, unsteady. You think they'll love you out there? You've always been difficult. We kept you safe, and this is how you repay us? I listened once, saved it, filed it. No response. At midnight, my sister texted, We're still your family, but you were always selfish. You deserve to be alone. I read it twice, not because it hurt, but because it confirmed everything. Day 3, they escalated. My cousin Ellie called after a family dinner. Your mom stood up in the middle of the table like it was a funeral, she said. She told everyone you were unstable, that you cut them off without reason, that they're worried you might hurt yourself. I actually laughed, quietly, not out of humor, but disbelief at how predictable it all was. I created a new folder, defamation counter, screenshots, contracts, voicemails, statements. Every piece of truth they tried to distort, preserved exactly as it was. Later that evening, the local pastor called me. His voice was careful, measured. Your mother is here. She says you canceled their mortgage. She's very distressed. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. Then I said calmly, If she can tell you the monthly payment without checking her phone, I'll reinstate it. Silence. He didn't answer, because she couldn't. I hung up. Day 5, the tone changed. Softer. Controlled. My dad texted, Let's fix this. We've all said things we regret. Not I'm sorry, not accountability. Just rearranged guilt. An hour later, a box arrived at my door. No return address. Inside were my childhood photos. Cut. Some burned at the edges. Others torn straight through the middle. Faces split. Memories erased. On top, a single note. This is what a real family looks like. I didn't cry. I didn't hesitate. I took a photo of everything, uploaded it to the folder, closed the box, threw it away. Day 7, they tried something different. Public pressure. I was in a grocery store halfway down the produce aisle when a voice stopped me. Veronica Clark? I turned. Mrs. Langford, one of my mom's friends. Tight smile, sympathetic eyes that didn't quite reach her expression. Your poor mother is devastated. She's been sick over this. I held her gaze for a moment. Then without a word, I pulled out my phone. Scrolled. Pressed play. Security footage. My mom. Scratching the side of my car in the driveway days before I left. No commentary, no explanation, just truth. Mrs. Langford's face shifted. The sympathy cracked. She said nothing. I put my phone away and walked past her. Pride wasn't the point. Self-respect was. Day 10, Mara texted me. They moved. No address, no notice, no farewell. Just gone. Not because they found peace, but because they couldn't control the narrative anymore. Not without me playing my role. I didn't follow. I didn't wonder where they went. I started organizing everything instead. Contracts, bank statements, voice recordings, a full timeline. Because even in their absence, the story kept shifting. Then a message came through LinkedIn. A former colleague. I heard about the situation with your family. Hope you're okay. I paused. Heard what exactly? It didn't take long to find out. My mom had been telling people I went no contact after falsely accusing them of financial abuse, but that they had forgiven me. That word again. Forgiven. So I wrote something. Calm, measured. No names, no emotion, just facts, a timeline, a link to the documentation. If you've only heard one version, here's mine. Decide for yourself. Within 12 hours, 6,000 views. Messages started coming in. Quiet apologies, people admitting they never knew the full story. Some said nothing at all, just viewed and left. That was enough. I wasn't looking for validation, just balance. A journalist reached out 2 days later. We're covering generational exploitation. Your story fits. Would you be willing to speak anonymously? I said yes. The article ran a week later. One line stood out more than anything else. You don't realize you've become a utility until you cut the line and they scream about the darkness. That night, my dad emailed a cease and desist letter. Blurry, unofficial. My lawyer reviewed it, dismissed it in under 5 minutes. Not defamation, he said. Documentation. Well done. And for the first time, I felt it fully. Not anger. Not grief. Clarity. Then they showed up. No call, no warning. Just 3 figures standing on my porch at sunset. My mom, my dad, my brother. I watched through the camera feed for a moment. Let them stand there. Let them feel the distance they had created. Then came the knock. We just want to talk. I opened the door. But I didn't step aside. My mom started first, tears already forming, voice softer than I had ever heard it. We've had time to think. Maybe we all went too far. We want you back. Back, like I had left. I looked at her, then at my dad, then at my brother. Why? I asked. My dad answered, because you're our daughter. But it didn't sound like love. It sounded like ownership. I nodded slowly. You didn't miss me, I said. You missed the system. Silence. I looked at my brother. You took what wasn't yours. At my mom. You didn't lose a dinner. Then back at all of them. You lost me. She cried harder then. Real tears this time. But we're trying, she whispered. Doesn't that count for something? I shook my head. Trying means changing. You didn't come here to change. I stepped back. Just enough to hold the door. Not enough to invite them in. This isn't punishment, I said quietly. It's protection. Then I closed the door. Soft. Final.